kia ruriri.
Gatho cia mwanya muno makiria ni guthii na mbere gukorwo gitwarana na ithuĩ ni to kama wa githĩnji ntwacokereria na rĩ ni ikireka ritu ria gatatu na ria muthia thiini wa tabarĩra ya rikiuma ngoini kuria twĩko tukiri na uria urakimeria giturwa kuria mwena wa City mwena wa Kasarani kaunti-ini ya Nairobi muthuri witũ HARISON MAINA aka Muthungu ne twĩko tukiri na kimenya wa mundu twĩko tugirie uko tukimurika maingĩ ma makiria makigimainie na uteti wa City waho twĩko tukimurikana na uteti wa mundu Kurugama ta mundu kiumbe na maundu maingĩ ma makiria na wakiona ni mwana ndakikiria kule mtandao-ini mbica yake andũ aingĩ mũno makiria makiuria ucio no mwĩhoto kumenya muthenya wa muthi na wakigwa agikia igeno hana haria kana githweri wa kimake mothe na maitũ njitagwo mwa githĩ njitagwo ndakigweta tũgũkorwo tukimurika maingĩ mũno makiria na hiya iko na kiuria kuma kule City kana haria othe ukiri thiini wa ituri ciothe cia bũrũri wa Kenya na baitũ ni 0719 kule kwa Facebook ni Wega TV KE kule tukiri live na ugitigirira ati na like page itu na kukuria kwa Twitter ni @Wega TV KE na tuko tukimulika directio na njira iria ikiagiria muno makiria. Karibu sana Muthungu.
Asante sana.
Wewe mushi
ndege muno
gaba ukuhekanya wethie muroreri wa Wega TV na mwikari wa kuria City
uria gandu a City ogo mwaigua maretwa mwakwa njĩtagwo HARISON MAINA na ũmũthĩ ndĩ haha mũnjũrie ciũria ciothe mũngĩenda twarĩrie ũhoro wa maendeleo marĩa tũgũka gwĩka City na mũigue mwĩ free mũtikaigue mũkĩhingĩrĩria ũndũ thutha wanyu. Amen.
Nĩ ngatho makiria wa mbere wĩtambũrũkie wega ukorwo gitwira HARISON MAINA no na ritwa Muthungu ri riumire ku utwire ritwa kwa Muthungu riumire ku
Muthungu ilitoka I'm half British half Kikuyu hau nĩ ho ritwa Muthungu yokire ndĩ mũikara gũkũ kĩndũ 38 years koguo andũ nĩ manjũĩ makanjĩkĩra rĩtwa rĩu tondũ wa njuĩrĩ na arĩa akũrũ hanini magakorwo nĩ moya aciari rĩu rĩtwa rĩaumire hau
rĩtwa Muthungu riumire hau na gwĩciria nĩ njigua andũ makiuga rĩngĩ andũ magĩra kĩndũ ta AKA ta Muthungu na marĩtwa marĩa mangĩ nĩgetha andũ rĩngĩ makorwo makĩendia wega kũrĩa mtaani. Gwĩciria rĩtwa Muthungu hihi rĩkwendetie kũrĩa mtaani nĩ andũ nĩ rĩtwa rĩretĩkĩrĩte
nĩ rĩtwa rĩũĩkaine mũno tondũ tũtirĩ aingĩ tũhanaine ũũ tondũ terĩ kana atatũ tũhana ũũ rĩu nĩ rĩtwa rĩamũkĩrĩtwo wega na ona mĩtugo kana mĩikarĩre tũtikarĩte ũru na andũ
koguo nĩ mũgĩthiĩte na rĩu tũkĩingĩra thĩinĩ wa ndeto cia mũthenya wa ũmũthĩ na kĩũria kĩa mbere kĩrĩa gĩkorwo gĩkũria nĩ hihi kĩndũ gĩgũtwo wanjĩra ũrĩkĩte thĩinĩ wa independent kana warũgama na tigiti wa mũndũ kĩũmbe ũtwĩre why independent?
Ti rita rĩa mbere kũrũgama ndarũgamire 2017 as an independent candidate. The reason being 2013 nĩ ndarĩ campaign manager wa mũrata wakwa ihinda rĩa TNA and I did not like how the party primaries were held. That is the first reason. The second reason is I'm still fighting for the democracy of andũ gũcagũra mũndũ they know that is competent over kĩama tondũ mũno no wonaga tũkĩhĩngĩcwo nĩ kĩama na mũno ciama ici cikoragwo the same people in a different shirt. Rĩu ũgakora ira marekĩrĩte red mothe nĩ mekĩra green rĩu ũgakora it is the same people we are choosing over and over again na cigakorwo ciĩkĩirwo campaign mũno rĩu cigakorwo nĩcio ciroywo mũno harĩa mbere but in real sense especially goko mashinani goko turarwira ite icio cia MCA ngona kwina bata andu mangicagura mundu moe moe angimateithia na ni akoretwo akimateithia ngona haha thi kiama gitibataire kurorwo muno ta mundu, because it is a small geographical area. These people know you. So those are my two reasons.
No tuiria tiriri ringi tunaga ringi andu aria marugama na ciama, for example ringi ta tha ciama iria ngo kana ciama iria ciuikaine muno Kenya, hena UDA, hena Jubilee, kukina kiama ta kia Azimio na maria mangi. Wakora hii kiama giki ni kira boost mundu wa muno makiria. Hii ni koragwo imo ya disadvantage ringi wita mundu ta independent ukokewa na mundu to na utuiria ati andu ingi muga ati worire independent ni ndu wa gwa mundu ta ukorwo tu mundu uyu ri wene arahota gutindikwo ni kiama no weri wakorwo ndurakorwo wi competent na andu makauga ati kuria muragira thini wa independent ni ndu wa gwa
neguo wina kiama ni uteithikaga tondu riria kiama kiu kiregathiriria when that party is doing their own campaigns, it does inclusive campaigns for all the members of that party. But as I said earlier, I am working with a very small geographical area. So I don't feel very challenged against my opponent who is in a party. I nidra believe na manifesto yakwa, nidra believe na miaka iria jikarite guu, miaka thate ito ikarite handu ti miaka minini, na nduri mundu wa kuihingira nyumba, na ni ukoretwo mundu wa guteithia andu na ngoro njega. Koguo ni hau tondu gite giakwa ti kinene ta kia governor kana senator, jiwe ati maybe my resources are chini kidogo, I feel okay. The burden that I would say is maybe everything is upon you, for you to brand yourself, for you to advertise, for you to collectively join your team. That might be a bit challenging, but with good planning, I think everything can be okay.
Na kaundu wa gwitwa planning na gwibanga na maundu maingi muno makiria gwiciria muthenya wa ira niguo kurari na andu gukorwo magicokia maratathi kuria kwa IEBC na niguo twira atiriri ni ndonete mwetio maratathi kana photocopies cia ID cia andu ringi kurite ci nini andu magetio 100 kana 1,000 ma photocopy ma ID cia andu aria marae kunyita mbaru. Hiyo twire challenge ya na ati ukorwo convince mundu ati ni ndara gumata independent ndenda photocopy yaku ya ID, na hii ni kindu mweri gikiga ta independent candidate.
Maratathi maya turacokagia mari certificates of compliance with the Office of Registrar of Parties. The ID copies are not in that section. Haha twa submitaga symbols, photocopies of ID, soft copy of the symbol, approved symbol. So there were certificates of the approved symbol and clearance that you are an independent candidate. Those are the things we were presenting to IEBC by the 2nd. The ID issue will come when we get the signature forms, which is an exercise which is very, very challenging, because it's not only independent candidates who are required this requirement, but all the candidates. Or imagine to get Tamwena wa Crescente, we are about 12 candidates in the same geographical area, meaning there is a probability mundu tawe no uke wetio photocopy ID ni andu ta 10. Will you feel safe giving out your private documents to such a big number of people? You don't know what these documents are going to do. If you are 12 candidates and you expected each MCA to have 500 copies of ID, that is about 6,000 IDs. What are these? what is the mentality of people on what IDs ici cigokorwo cigithie gwika no kore angi mageciria irathi kuya githurano angi ni murathi gwika monkey business so we think it is very very challenging and in 2017 there was no such rule and in fact today there is a press conference at Anniversary Towers by the Independent Candidates Forum of Kenya concerning that particular issue. Another challenge that we have as independent candidates is that independent candidates do not have a forum or a panel to address their grievances. IRBC has not allocated a certain panel where we can go and direct our grievances to. So we are just people who are hanging there. So we just have to follow what we are told. Tita Kiama, Kanasiama, Oriasina, they have party offices, they have a platform for their grievances to be addressed. So those are among the challenges we are having as independent candidates. But the biggest is the ID collection. Because in 2017, it was just you approach someone who has faith in you, gives you your name, the ID number, and signs. And then you go to a cyber cafe, or if you have technology in your house, you put them on soft copy, which is the name and the ID number, which you're now going to present between May 29th and June, I think June 9th or something like that. So the CD is supposed to be run in the IBC database because you require the signatures to be registered voters of whatever demographic or geographic area that. So if it's Clay City, they have to be registered voters for Clay City, which was not hard. But now telling someone to go photocopy, one, it will be on your cost. A person cannot remove their own money and it's you who requires the document. Another issue that might come up with that is that citizen might start asking for maybe kitu kidogo for you. If you want my ID, I am hungry, you know. So there will be challenges, and it's a very short time. We only have 10 days between May 13th and May 29th or 23rd to actually have achieved that. So I would say that's the biggest challenge. And we would like to pledge with IEBC to reconsider on that, because these are documents that can be used for ill if they got into the wrong hands.
Na kaundu kangĩngĩenda tũmũrĩke ũhoro wĩgiĩ na gũtire ũhoro wa gũtwara simus na ngwĩciria kĩndũ kĩa mbere kĩrĩa ndĩronire mũthenya wa ira na nginya ngathĩti-inĩ citũ cia ũmũthĩ ngokĩrora nĩ atĩ kũrĩ na independent candidates aingĩ mũno makĩria, tondũ ngĩrora rĩnĩ wa gĩturwa gĩa president rĩ kwĩna andũ 47 arĩa mafieldĩtwo thĩinĩ wa candidate ya president. Wathiĩ kũrĩa governor ndona kũrĩ na andũ ta 47,000, wathiĩ kũrĩa gwa senate nĩ 147. Inyuĩ MCS ngona nĩ kĩndũ ta 5,000 almost 6,000. So ngarigwo atĩrĩrĩ, kĩndũ kĩa mbere ũhoro kĩgimenye na kĩndũ gĩgwĩtwo simbos. Twambĩrĩrie hau, simbos ici rĩ citirarehe a lot of confusion rĩrĩa ciĩkĩrwo thĩinĩ wa maratathi marĩa, na nĩ mũndũ rĩu ta for example gũtwĩra nginya simbo yaku ndĩrĩkũ nĩguo kũ-explainĩra mũndũ, tondũ nĩ gũikoraga mwena wa ciama rĩ mwena wa ciama wakora rĩngĩ ndarĩ na thĩna mũnene tondũ we athiĩ harĩa ona rĩu ta UD akamenya nini, athiĩ Jubilee akamenya nini, nĩ gatutura kana nĩkĩ kana nĩ mwako makinyitanĩte na maũndũ ta macio. Njĩra atĩrĩ simbo ici rĩ hena ũndũ cirarehe confusion kũrĩ mũhũri wa kĩo.
No nginya cikũrehe confusion tondũ kĩndũ kĩa mbere in the ballot paper mũbangagwo na surname alphabetically. Koguo ũgakora mwaingĩ mũndũ ũcio nĩ araruta wĩra mũingĩ mũno wa gwetha iratathi-inĩ rĩu, na mundu ucio patience yake egere mai aguthina kiria oi. That is one challenge. The other challenge is what I would blame, what has brought all this confusion. Riria mathondekaga the Political Parties Act niguo ma accommodate coalition. They would have amended that section whereby once you do a nomination, kahuruka, uka back, uria wasida, there would not have been this problem. But remember, I told you in the beginning that party primaries are never fair. So everybody who felt that the process was unfair to him gets another option, which I think is unfair to us independent candidates who are truly independent from the beginning. You should be okorowe warugamite na UDA kana warugamite na Azimio and you were a die-hard of that party and you got defeated, you should have backed the person who won, be a party supporter, and maybe wait for a reward for your loyalty to the party if your party wins.
If not,
then I don't know. But there is usually a question whereby nominations is something that should also show your will to mobilize. So if you weren't able to mobilize on that day, what makes you think you'll be able to mobilize on election day? Okay? So those are among the questions that maybe we should repair in the next election. That is what I would say on the matter. Yes.
So na hari undu ungi orire ukwaragia ugo ndakorwo ngiciria muno makiria oro igimainie na kindu gigwitu ithurano na muno makiria tugahe na confusion ya symbols na maundu ta macio na undu ungi ni ati mugakorwo muri ingi muno makiria to riu ndathi haria guthura president ri tuge ndenda guthura president wa UDA ngona iko ngabuta ringi leta yake ri yari twa gweta sanim ni kuga akorwo kiri kuria thi muno makiria ngagiciria atiriri hihi ni igukinyira handu tuge ati andu uria maugaga kaba guthura thuti no hoto gukorwo tukirikirira ta muikia wa kura ugia na kaba riu githura thuti tu ni undu wa wira ucio muingi tonta wira muingi wa guthie ugetha mundu kana is it worth it?
It depends on the work you've done on the ground. Ni njitikitie andu mangikwenda andu magugwetha nginya rungu wa gitanda nginya makwaga hau ballot-ini marehe thina. Koguo muno ni tuge what this big list has done neko heighten ginya campaigns see more door to door, they will be scrambled for votes, so there will be a lot of commitment to look for those votes than it was before. Without aggressiveness of the other candidates, the parties will take the day. So if the other candidates or the independent candidates will not be as aggressive to go out and look for these votes, then the party will definitely take the day. Because it is actually a very long list. It's being called the longest ballot paper in history of Kenya. So, and at the end of the day, the biggest disadvantage with this is that we will again not choose the best leaders. We will choose the symbol that we know, we see every day. That is the symbol we are going to choose. And it does not mean that necessarily that symbol is carrying the best leader. So those are among the challenges that Kenyan democracy is facing. And
it's very time consuming when you keep choosing the wrong leader. When you never get it right. You can see we chose Kibaki for 10 years. You see the kind of leap he threw this country forward. What if he stayed for 20 years? That is a question many people ask. Because when you have a right leader and you have a leader who completely understands what he's coming to do, has his work cut out, knows where to start, where to finish, what kind of human resource to work with, he works very fast, solves problem very quickly. Because when he was asking for this seat, he had already thought about the problems, thought about the solutions to those problems. So he's not coming into office to look for solutions. He's coming into office to put in place the various consultations that he's been doing as he campaigns. So that would be my take on the issue.
So reke turore undu ungi ngogimurika ni turakiona ringi toguo twakigwata mundu ni agwa thiini wa kiama agathie akarugama ringi na kiama kingi kana akiuma kirugama ta independent no undu uria ngwenda tumurike muno makiria we urarugama Clay City ta MCA na ukiri na iturwa ingi twakiuga ukiri na o giturwa kiri na independent candidates hihi tukigire hathe mutiri na forum ngiuga ati ntakiama no hihi ni gwiciria ni guko ni gwakinya handu tukauga ati ni ta MCA wa Clay City HARISON MAINA ngurugama riu tuge na kwa muhana mundu uri ukiukaine muno makiria ta president uri rakirugama na mundu kibe ni mundu ta Ruben Kigame ukauga ni hakinya handu mukorwo tina urumu ucio ati no mukorwo mukinyita ringi ta president wanyu muge ugo niwe tukurugamia ithu ta independent candidate ri ugo niwe tukunyita mbaru gituri-ini kia governor tukunyita mbaru uyo kana hihi ni mundu kurwa wika thiini wa bara ino ya gwetha kura.
Very good question. In fact, Gekinya Goko, there was an announcement by our presidential candidate, Ruben Kagame. Forum eno independent candidates forum of Kenya. Ne step emwe nene ya gukoro gutunyitanithia ithuothe tokorwo twi gali emwe talking with one voice. Addressing these challenges. And from what I see and from this forum, that is where we are heading. Because one of the agenda of this forum is to move as one block. We are going to have a conference at 680 Hotel on 12th May. To discuss the nationwide campaign. So after then, I wouldn't mind coming for another interview and maybe now telling you the way forward for independent candidates. But that is where we are going. That is where we are going because we have our own presidents, we have our own governors, we have our own senators, we have members of parliaments, we have MCA. So, and we are 7,000 strong. So I think we are a force that people should be very worried about. They should not assume us. And we believe in this government, we will have a lot of seats in this government. If you see in 2017, we had about 20. I believe this year we will increase that number. And I hope that in future we'll have a democracy whereby, like the United States, where we don't have 50 parties. We have Democrats, Republicans, and Independents. Yeah. So that is where we are heading.
Na o riria turakiuga uhoro wa kurehe andu ru hamwe ri ni kuri na aria makigua ringi democracy ta yakorwo ikihinyirio na njira imwe kana ringi kana mundu akigua hatina thi uria akiagirire andu tugikiuga hari andu 47 ati mukunyita mbaru mundu umwe. For example, twakiuga ti gukiri no tukiuge tukuhe mundu ta Ruben Kigame ayangi mayako makimunyita mbaru. Hii ni gwiciria ni ikurehe ningi njatukano ingi thiini wa Independence Forum.
I think it was especially aria maumete ciama ingi magoka. I don't believe no to expect marehe inegene riu maraumira nario kuria marehe haha tondu guthamira guko gwito was their choice and there is no other way to go. Okay. So you either we either now agree. If we do not agree, then you just get out of the race because there is nowhere else to go. Independent is the last your last option. So I saw a suggestion whereby even in ward level we tokoro oria togisemania muka back the strongest candidate or the one you see is most likely to battle it out with a party candidate. It can be a very brilliant idea and it can make us even more stronger. Because when you talk about going in as 47 presidents, then there is no winner. There is no way 47 candidates can garner more votes than two very major candidates. So it's either we become also a third major candidate and we put all the muscle of 7,000 people behind, 7,000 candidates behind this one person, or we accept whatever result that will come.
Kwa tuotere tuone ule muko mugibanga kana independent candidates ni meko makirugamia umwe wao na ntuko tukimenya hihi maundu ri meko magikara ri tucoke kule Clay City kule rakirugama ta MCA ni gukiona uri ugikarire gitirwe kiu kihinda ri ni mundu gwito Samora Mwaura ndenda gujire atiri ni ugwetire tukiambiria uhoro wa ukoro giteithitie andu kule na andu makenagio muno makirire mutongoria utari wathani-ini ukoro akimanyita guoko utwire atiri ni maundu mariku hihi wikite nginya ihinda riri mbere ya uneto tigitio kana uneto gitirwa giki KMCA
muno ni ngoragwo muteti wa matura makwa na ni ngoretwo mundu ungireherwo thina ni ahingagia. If you came to me with a problem, I will definitely solve it. The biggest slavery or mental slavery that leaders have, and this is where you do very little work in 5 years. Nĩ tondũ andũ mesiragia kana makĩingira wabici ĩyo mesiragia thirikari nĩ kũmasolvera promises iria maheire andũ. Kĩndũ kĩa mbere atongoria nĩ marabatara kũmenya atĩrĩrĩ, thirikari nene kana county ndioĩ thĩna ũrĩa we wĩnaguo. We nĩwe ũĩ na we nĩwe wathondeka manifesto yaku na we nĩwe woka na solution ya thĩna ũcio in your manifesto. Unaona, ndona consult city hall, ndona consult national government, we nĩwe wona thĩna wa itũra rĩaku and you came up with a solution for it. Now wathiĩ kũrĩa wacagũrwo rĩu wathiĩ kũrĩa wĩra waku nĩ gũtindĩka agenda kana solution yaku nĩguo wone ũteithio. But sometimes it takes too long. So you require to have direct solutions or homemade solutions, domestic solutions for your domestic problems. And most of the cases that I have helped, I did not remove a lot of money from my pocket. I removed maybe an equal contribution to what other people did. But my biggest asset is I am a very serious mobilizer. Mwana ndagiaga guthie thukuru tondu wa ngiri 30 kana ngiri 20 na ni athiaga kanitha na ena arata na ena family. If you bring those people together and break down this and make it a very easy thing, it will be achievable and the problem you had will go away. The problem is when you are brought a problem and you put it all upon yourself to solve that problem. You cannot. What if 30 people brought you the same problem worth 30,000? You cannot be able to solve those problems. And at the end of the day, you look like you're not performing. You look like a bad person. You look like you don't want to address their issues, like you're a liar. But if you know how to mobilize the resources around you, and what most leaders don't know and ignore is that the biggest resource are your own people. That is the biggest resource. Tuge fara yanyu ne thoku. Twatua ati mugweterera nie nyume haha. Thie hakoria jetie uteithio. Uririkane kwina ward 85 onacio kwao ne kwauga. Na ne guthukan. No tungitara ati kuma haha nginya haria twi nyumba 10 na turabatara rori 3 cia mahiga na rori imwe mbeca ici na twi andu 10 no turute mundu ngiri na tuhingie undu ucio. Then what are we doing waiting for propaganda, bureaucracy? Mvua itaisha, watu watakuwa wameteseka, people will hate you. Unaona? And you will not have solved that problem. But if you can make your people partners of development, stakeholders of where they live, because let's say the truth, we are most of the problems of what happens in our area. We human beings, we residents are mostly the problem, or we caused that problem. Let's also be part of the solution. But you require a leader who knows how to bring these people together and make that make sense to them. It is the same way when we are dealing with major problem. Ni ufataire kumenya stakeholders cia itura riaku ni a. Iria uraigira kwa leadership. No iguaga ati the first 100 days. It does not apply only to presidents. It applies even to you, an MCA. Kuhu ugakora, okone sector ya health. In the first 100 days, no hata wikara na mathivitari maku. No hata thivitari siaku, clinics, pharmacies. You require to have a forum with them. You need to discuss with them the loopholes that are in that industry and how we are going to cover them and how they are going to come in. Niye negoragwo na backbone ya manifesto yako, corporate social responsibility. It's very important when you teach people in the private sector to give back. And you can be amazed about the capital you can raise if these people give back. If it is in the education sector, make sure that every person in that sector, every head of any private school, any uniform maker, any bookshop dealer, you sit down, have a breakfast, discuss on the problems that you have in your ward, and come with a solution. A very simple solution. When people are in one room, you kill a 1 million shilling problem very easily, because you are not tackling this problem alone. You are making these people involved, and once they become part of the solution, they become part of the solution forever. We are supposed to start institutions that will survive us. That even if I die, that even if I get voted out, that institution will be used by every leader that will come after us. Let's stop politics of mimi nikiingia na jenga estate yangu. Unaona? There is a portfolio that the person who was before you had. You need to have continuity. Otherwise, that's why we find ourselves, we have half a road here, half a road there, half a road another place. We don't have a continuous project. That maybe the person who left a half project, you are supposed to complete that project so that it can be useful to mwananchi. But now you leave that project and start implementing your project. which without good governance will also be another white elephant. It won't be completed. So we need to understand that you're not doing this for you. You are doing this for mwananchi. You are just a servant. You are a representative of these people. And if they don't have a hospital, complete that hospital. Improve that hospital. If the school has a problem, ongeza classrooms. Uplift the quality of education in that. Look for partners. In Clay City Ward, we are among one of the wealthiest wards when I talk about resources. We are very lucky that once you enter Clay City Ward, we have a divisional police headquarters, meaning security should not be an issue. We have an AP camp at Santon. So security should not be an issue, having a very big institution of security like this. We have 5 petrol stations. We have 15 industries. We have over 21 private schools. We have 4 major hospitals. We have 9 business communities. We have a nightlife. We have colleges. These are your stakeholders. You have the people. These are your stakeholders. These are your development partners. Without involving all these people, then there is nothing you are going to be doing. Because you will only have one partner, who is the county government. What much can the county government do for you? You are not the only one. So the only thing that governments, either county or national governments, do in every financial year, they allocate something to your ward. Now, are we going to be serious and wait for 365 days to be given one classroom and one road or one small something, and then wait for another financial year? I don't think that can be very practical. Yes.
So already no wambĩrĩirie gwĩka maũndũ ta ũguo akĩgweta, na ũndũ ũngĩ ngwenda gũkũria nĩ rĩrĩ, hena MC ũrĩa wĩikarĩire gĩtĩ kĩa Clay City thaa ici, na njuga makiuga na nĩ ĩmwe ya kĩndũ kĩrĩa gĩtũmaga mũndũ ende gũkorwo agĩtuĩka mũtongoria. Hihi he kaũndũ wonete gatatwarithĩtio wega na atĩ woya matamu ma ũtongoria ta mũthenya wa ũmũthĩ ũtuĩke MCA wa kũrĩa Clay City, hihi nĩ maũndũ marĩkũ ũngĩenda gũkorwo ũgĩcenjia marĩa wonete hihi matwarĩtwo na njĩra ĩrĩa yagĩrĩire?
Okay. Nĩ mũrata wakwa na ndingiuga ũru wake. Kĩrĩa ingiuga nĩ maybe wisdom ĩrĩa agire aingĩra wĩra-inĩ. Kĩndũ kĩa mbere, rĩrĩa waingĩra wĩra-inĩ, nĩ twatiga campaign, nĩ twatiga politics. Waingĩra wĩra-inĩ, nĩ ũrarikwaya gũkorwo a competent team. Na nĩ ũrarikwaya gũkorwo na to stop politicizing the job. Don't politicize the job. Politicizing the job is when I feel now certain people supported me, so I'm supposed to work on that side more than another side, and also being pulled into that vacuum. Ugakorwo nore mone kweruta hado how you have to, you are working for everybody, you are not working for a certain group of people. The next problem I usually have is bursaries, and this is not a problem with only the incumbent but with even the previous MCA. There is a lot of, first, there is a lot of rural-urban migration. Meaning, population ya kodo gwaku was not the same. It's not the same the way it is when you entered office. There are challenges like COVID-19, which made ado matafataire basari le umafatare. We have had 400 bursaries since inception of the new constitution. There has not been any increment of the people who are getting this service or this help from government. And every time there are many applicants than the people who receive. So there are many than 400. So we are elected to solve problems. So if 1,000 people come and apply for my bursary and I only have 400, does that mean these 600 people will never get bursaries? Or is there any other formula do you have to actually have a way to increase your bursaries every year, even if omwaka orogere bursary igana rimwe, bursary igana rimwe. When you have an MP who has a CDF, if you do your job well and have good data, umenye kindu kimwe riria urathie kuhoya uteithio nduthiaga na kanua ati hi andu 800 nio mara apply bursary ndeithie na unyongerere bursary igana rimwe mwaka uyu. You go with data collected through the applicants. Give the exact number, have a discussion on how all these people can become happy one day. And if there was an increment of 100 bursaries every year, it means the first MCA would have ended his term with 900 bursaries, and now we would be at 1,400 bursaries. Are we solving problems? We are. Also, I believe he would have engaged the private sector more, because we have a very big private sector, and not engage them individually. Engage them in a forum, engage them in a conference, whereby make them talk as one voice to solve one problem. So if it is education, our 15 industries, when we talk about 1,000 applicants and a deficit of 600, a bursary is worth 5,000 shillings. That is 3 million. When you talk about 15 industries, that is an education fund that each company puts 200,000. 200,000 is very little money to this company. If you make sense on what you are doing with this money. To avoid corruption, have a member of each company sit on the board and have like a wings to fly of Clay City Ward. This is an institution that will survive you forever and ever, and will educate the children of Clay City forever and ever. So you have filled that deficit of 600 children. Meaning, if the MP would add you some more money, there's also NGAAF, National Government Affirmative Action Fund. So there are other channels that educate children. Yet, we only know about the once per year bursary. And because there is no civic education, people have not been taught that there are other avenues of money. So people just stay in a shell, expecting that just that one source of help. But they are a lot of help. People even like Liverpool VCT, they educate orphans who are a cause of the parents dying of HIV. Have you channeled? Have you approached organizations like this? Have you known that a certain group of people are being taken care of? So those are among the things that I think he did wrong, and those are the things we are coming to correct. When we talk about corporate social responsibility, which is among that, also on education, we forget that we also have bursaries are for colleges and high school, but we forget that we have primary school going children who are suffering, who even some don't go to school. So what are the other plans of handling this kind of children instead of pumping them into public schools and having very overloaded public schools? Yet you have other people in the private sector who can also share this burden. I also feel he did not embrace technology in his leadership. Technology, which is part collecting of data, and also our school, Morema Primary School, does not have IT learning, does not have computer lessons. So tell me, when a child from a private school and a child from Morema go into the world, will they have equal opportunities? I don't believe they'll have equal opportunities. We are in a technological world. Your child knows your smartphone more than you. So I think a facility, a very big facility should be there. It does not require you to have money. It requires you to be smart and to be able to present your case to investors. And you can have, you can draw a plan on the computer lab and whatever is needed. And you can let your partners pledge towards, one can build the foundation, another can donate precast walls. So let people stop exaggerating achievement of projects. These things can be achieved at a very small cost if you bring people on board. But mostly you just want to do it yourself and maybe do it with your fellow politicians.
Eka undu wa gweta muno makiria wigamaine na githomo na ciana citu ni irathoma na muno mbeu njidi wakimaliza shule ugakora andu acio ri nitwekiririe investment nene twita aciari twita arimu twita ateti na twita ruriri ruothe na mwana ucio rikia thukuru ri akaga wira mwanake wi haria classet ri aikarite uguo atiri undu areka ri ni mibango iriku hiwi nayo yake mwanake wi classet ri nake ona ni ikarire muno ginya we agikinya elapse time akiambiriria dawa cia kurefia na maundu ta maya mwanake uyu ri handu ha gukorwo akihuthirwo tu ni ateti ihinda riri uteti gukorwo akihura campaign akaheo 200 ri hihi Harrison Maina amubangire ki gutigirira ati mwanake uyu ni agia na uturo mweru ona waingira ta MC ati mundu ucio ni aramenya ati rucio rwakwa ni rwega atige gukorwo tateire mwihoko ti ucemanagia na iretu itu ti ucemanagia na anake itu kuria classet matari na undu mekaga
kindu kia mbere no ria kiuria kiega muno tondu youth ni irora na the saddest part ni ati irora tukiroragira na ni dionete mibango yothe igikwo kuhusu the youth kindu kia mbere na ni njugaga ngauga atumia manjitikirie njuge u mwana wa kahii ni arora pio na muno ungiona rita riri voter registration youth ni raregire kuoya kura tondu ihuthagirwo ihinda wa siasa o campaign kunegena kurua ki no nie Kurugama tondu ona ni ndari youth mwaka muhituku no tha ici ndire youth nie ndire ndona mibango ya thirikari when it comes to the youth nie ndire ndona mibango ya thirikari kindu kia mbere boy child ni arabatara a mentorship program na nie ngeingira guku ne gukorwo na kindu kiretwo Big Brother mentorship program Big Brother mentorship program irenda riri kindu kia mbere mundu ni arabatara gukorwo busy na as you are getting busy I require you to be busy and to acquire a skill Kogo how do will this Big Brother mentorship program work? We will have people from all walks of careers, plumbers, electricians, masons, tailors, welders, who will apply as Big Brothers into this program. And then we will allocate young men to be working with these people every day until they acquire that skill. And as they work, mako work, tamodo wa moko, they will learn through something called apprentice. Apprentice means Uthoma through modo, dwathire thukuru. Ugathoma through modo. Then we do certification programs through National Industrial Training Authority and other academic institutions. Apart from that, we require to be in partnerships with financial institutions and business people in a way whereby in 5 years, we are going to rehabilitate 1,000 young men, which is 200 young men per year. Where the biggest challenge of these young men is access to capital, which will be among the things that I will fight for in the county assembly. Because as the same as Kenya Insurance Deposit KIDC that insures your deposits in a bank, they should be a way whereby startups can be insured in case of failure. Because our young people have very great ideas but lack capital to start up their businesses. So that is among of legislation that I will be doing there. As we do that legislation, we will be in partnerships with businessmen that I've been in talks with, whereby we are going to start with a program with 20 young people who are well known. The security will be only to open a bank account, to have an ID, and we know your parent. Then we give you free merchandise. You go sell. You bring back the money. We give you more merchandise. We are going to work with financial partners who will have BDS, which is business development support. They teach you about saving, they teach you about investing, they teach you how to grow your money. So we will work with them all through the journey. Then after every 2 months, one person is allowed to introduce 2 of his friends. And we require that per year, the 20 will have attracted each 10 of their friends, which will come to 200 per year. Once they become 10, we turn them into an investment group and they start enjoying financing, asset financing from the financial institution that has worked with them the whole of the year. So every group will be upgrading to an investment chama every year. So there will be 20 groups of 10 members each that will gain access to funds, access to asset finance every year. So that is the plan that we are going to work with. Yeah.
Gwiciria nä rä ciria rä ega ndona ndagä citå ndä nä ciathira gwiciria nä å ndå gå korwo kä ingä rania nginya na atumia tondå nana makä ingä irio thä inä wa ngurubu icio no rä u ngå he å ndagä ka ä mwe tu å korwo å kä arä ria må ikari wa kå rä å må hoe kura yake tå kä rä kia.
Thengio må no. Mwä roreri wa Wega TV o nä Harrison Maina wä haha ndirä må geni kwä maitho manyu. Na nikiwa nimekaa hapa, mimi niko na ombi moja. Wakati tunachagua kiongozi wa miaka 5, tusipuuze kwamba miaka 5 ni miaka kidogo. In 2017 kuna mtu aliniambia ati Maina usijali ni miaka 5 tu. But kwa hiyo miaka 5, kijana wangu alikuwa class 3 na sasa ni candidate. Kwa miaka ingine 5 atakuwa college. Kumaanisha miaka 5 ni muda kubwa sana ya kukua kwamba ati hupati usaidizi wenye unafaa, haupati huduma yenye unafaa, na mimi ukinisaidia na kura yako, mimi nakuhakikishia kitu moja kwamba I will set the bar from uongozi duni na I will bring productive leadership, inclusive leadership, na sisi wote tutatajirika na jiweza kwa hiyo mpangilio yenye niko nayo. Asanteni sana.
Ngatho cia mwanya muno makiria Harrison Maina kuma kule Clay City. Riu ituaniria kuwe muikari wa Clay City we niwe gutwitua riu ukimenye haria ugagikia kura yaku ithuĩ nĩ twagicira riu cira nĩ kuri we mundu gwitwo Sky T Karish ni akugeithia Chege Kinyozi mwiki arauge thiini muno makiria muthotho wa keyboard tosh onao kiarauge thiini mundu gwitwo Antomuna hano tugutirira tabarira ya muthenya wa muthi ria koneka mauga githĩnji mutabani uri tukiuma nake muthenya wa muthi ni wa Mbogo wa Gicuki mwana wa Bisha tumgwa na muthuri tathakaga na Bisha mundu gwitwo Jose Valencia mutherekeri witu no ri tuthondekagira graphics ya cwino ni Ibrahim Mushiri Tidia Mwago.